All right. I feel like everyone's on the beach right now, so that's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So one thing I thought it was super important um, to go over is like today's new world. If you guys can't hear me, please let me know. If your connection's bad, let me know. This will be recorded and posted on YouTube as always. Um, right now in the market, we are in a big unknown as we've discussed before, right? The biggest thing that I've seen is, as always, and continues to be, the lack of innovative leadership and the lack of comprehensive strategy to go out there and get business in today's market environment. The buyer has changed, the borrower has changed, the overall consumer has changed, real estate in general strategy has changed, and real estate agents, their mindset has changed, right? So when you factor in all of this change, for lack of a better term, um, you guys all need to change, right? And I say that with all due respect, that the old ways of banging your head against the wall, those days are over, right? The days of going into real estate offices, walking in and having 20, 30, 40 people in there because they need to work there are over. Um, Backtrack to about February of 2017 when I really first started building an online digital presence. Now I'm 5 years and 5 months in, let's call it. That's 65 months of building a strict, straight digital presence. Now, I was fortunate enough to spend the prior 10 years building a ground and pound street relationship presence, right? So I took 10 years of street presence and said, I'm no longer going on the street. I'll take meetings and obviously take referrals still, but I need to perfect the digital strategy because if you utilize
after this meeting, thank you so much.
The digital strategy combined with the ground and pound strategy, you guys will have more business than you know what to do with, right? The problem today is people think they make one social media post and they should be getting business from it. And that's not realistic. That's not a realistic expectation, right? So what do we do in today's market environment to slowly build a digital presence for all of you, combined with going out there and forming relationships with individuals that are actually doing business, right? I want you guys to start thinking of every single person you meet, whether it's a real estate agent, your accountant, the lady at the grocery store that's checking you out, the guy that's greeting you at Walmart, every single person that you come in contact with, you want them to become a part of your army, right? And the great thing is that in today's world, because of the lack of human interaction and the lack of focus on interpersonal relationships, you guys are all going to be ahead of the game because if you just go out there and shake hands and be an absolute gem of a human being towards somebody, they're going to want to feel obligated, right, to refer you to what your profession is. And that's just human nature. We will never be able to remove the human nature from relationships and people, right? Now, that's not to say that they won't go back online and find a digital lender or find someone with a lower mortgage rate than you're advertising, but it still gives you the accountability and relationship to know who you are and what you do. And you never know when they're going to call on you or when they're going to refer you. The other day, Sherry and I were referred a client from someone on Facebook who knew we did loans in New York, and it was where I used to live, the town over, outside of New York City. And we had probably like a 2-hour phone call with this lady. And all she kept saying was, I want to work with Zillow. I want to work with Zillow. And I'm like, okay, Zillow's gotten you to this point so far. You could work with Zillow as much as you want, right? But if you can't get your offer accepted and you're not getting the right service, why would you want to continue to work with Zillow? We wound up referring her to one of our real estate agents who I've known since 2007. But the consumer is so set in their ways. And you could sit here until you're blue in the face and tell them exactly what the truth is, exactly how to get pre-approved, exactly how to get an offer accepted. They're still going to want to do what they do. And they're unfortunately going to have to learn the hard way in this market, right? So how do you go out there and softly educate the consumer in your marketplace, right? And every market's different. I want to also backtrack on that. A lot of the information that I post is kind of global, right? But it's also very local. So while like the New York City market is booming, I'm sure there are suburbs in Montana or Idaho or somewhere that I've never been that might see price drops and they might not see as much action, right? So keep that all in mind. Every single market is hyper local and hyper focused on the data to that specific market. I think everyone can and should do a better job of what I call sexy marketing, right? If you watch the prior video that we did on like auditing yourself and your business, if you have boring marketing, people are just going to scroll right over it, right? Everyone knows about interest rates. Everyone knows about FHA loans. Everyone knows about mortgages. Everyone knows about home prices. But most people know the wrong information about all that. So what do you do as the influencer or as the expert in your marketplace or on your digital marketplace to get people to say, crap, Bill Bullock just posted this crazy video where he jumped out of an airplane and then he talked about an FHA mortgage, right? So I don't know who, yeah, Paul Rogers, yeah, exactly. Sexy marketing, like thirst trap marketing. Yeah, exactly. Thirst trap marketing, yes, you want to create that trap where people have to watch a ridiculous event to then be educated, right? The consumer's attention span is 15 seconds. So if you take your shirt off and you run around your office, people are going to be like, why did Paul take his shirt off? And then they're going to listen to what you have to say. If you just start speaking, they're just going to scroll over because they don't want to hear what you have to say unless it's eye-catching, right? So when you guys do something marketing-wise, think about what your hook is. Also think about who your audience that you want to gain from this post is, right? Or gain from this video that you do. Because if you're just putting generic information out there and you don't know who it's targeted towards, how are you even going to speak to your audience? If you're 22 years old and the majority of the people that follow you are 22, 23, you should be talking about first-time homebuyer programs, not reverse mortgages per se, right? If you're 45 years old in a suburb community, you've been in the town 20 years, maybe you talk to, your audience, if you have kids, your kids' parents, right? The parents of the kids and everything of, hey, Atlanta, Georgia's gone up 65% in value in the past 5 years. Have you considered cash out refinancing to pay off your debt? And people don't ever take that approach of, let me be different than everybody else. So you need to craft your own story. But before you craft that story, you guys have to really pick who's your audience. Like, who do you really want to be doing business with, right? Do you want to be doing business with that renter that might be the next buyer? Maybe, but that's a long process to cultivate. You have to educate them. You got to pre-approve them. You got to handhold them. And they're probably 12 to 18 months out from realistically buying a property. If you guys take your market where you guys are right now, I guarantee you that there are deals in your marketplace that you could personally extract based on strategic marketing through your social media. And only you guys know that, right? So if you want to deal with today's real estate agent, you guys even more so have to be on your A game from a professional level, not a desperate level. I can tell you that I probably have 1,000 friends that are real estate agents in my immediate circle, none of which give me business. I don't want business from them because I tell them flat out, like, look, and I'm gonna use this terminology, like, I'm not gonna kiss your ass, right? Like, I'm an expert, you're an expert. If there's mutual respect, we could do business. If you have a deal that gets dropped by your go-to lender that's paying you a stupid amount of money in a marketing service agreement or actually paying you kickbacks, because like in the New York City, Northern New Jersey market, that's all everybody does, and I don't play in that game. But we can still be friends, right? You can still send me all your commercial deals, your private money deals, your non-QM deals, because they don't do them. But how do you maintain that level of professionalism with a new potential real estate agent, right? That everyone else, every competitor is kissing their ass. And the only way you do that is to stand out professionally. What I've also gotten back into, which I did my entire career, go out and spend $200 or $300 on a nice dinner with somebody, intimate, one-on-one. If there's a team leader at Keller Williams in your market, take that team leader out, let your guys' hair down, go grab a beer if you drink, go get a nice, plate of oysters or something nice bowl of pasta, whatever you're going to do. Take that person out outside of their environment, one-on-one, treat them to a nice dinner. And I guarantee you, if you treat the right person in leadership in a real estate office to a nice dinner, within 48 hours, they will get you a referral. Guaranteed. And if you're in the right marketplace where you have nice sized mortgage loans and you spend $300 on a dinner and you make $3,000 on a commission, that's a 10x return on your money. But how about this? That relationship's going to keep giving. Now they give you a second deal or a second realtor that needs help. Now they invite you into the office place to do a presentation. So that $300 one time can make you $30,000 over the next 18 months. Where else can you put up $300 and be a good person to return $30,000? Opposed to, hey, yeah, I want to go into Keller Williams. I'm going to spend $2,500 a month on a market service agreement. And now you're operating in the negative. You're always chasing what you're laying out. That's the worst business model I've ever seen or heard, right? The other good thing is once you get somebody outside of their office, outside of their comfort zone, and they become a true person rather than an animal, right? They're going to say, hey, we really have a problem with ABC Mortgage. Hey, this loan officer hasn't been here in 3 weeks. Hey, this guy just dropped 2 deals. Hey, we get nothing but complaints on this guy or girl, right? They're going to give you the secret sauce as to how to position yourself to get business from their office. Hey, we really could use training on FHA. Hey, we could really use training on interest rates. They're going to tell you exactly where their pain parts are, especially if they're in management, because they're dealing with a bunch of knuckleheads below them that probably don't know anything, that do nothing but complain or justify why they have no business, right? So you guys need to learn how to position yourselves as a professional, as the expert to close that gap, right? The other thing is today's consumer, they're not listening to their real estate agent like they would in the past because all of their answers are on this phone right here. Now, if somebody moves into town from somewhere else, yeah, they're probably going to latch onto the real estate agent. So if you're in a big relocation area or an area where there are new businesses opening up, big corporate centers, yeah, you know what? You probably do want to lean a little bit more so on the real estate agents. But number one thing I can tell you guys is really get back to being professional because this industry's got so lax. This industry's got so cool and laid back. And that's why people are dropping the ball. You have to pick and choose. Look, there's nothing wrong with being laid back and easygoing. But if you want to get business and grow your business, that's going to take a lot of hard work. And you're going to have to, unfortunately, sweat your ass off this time of year to go out there and get business the right way. But be a professional about it. Don't come off desperate. Don't beg them for business. And the worst thing you could do is call a real estate agent cold because they laugh at mortgage people that do that. And if you think that you're telling somebody or somebody told you that that works, I'm telling you, I can give you 5,000 names by tomorrow that when someone calls them and they don't know, they will never give them business because they're like, who is this person? They're calling me, asking me for business. I don't even know who the heck they are. So change your strategy up. If everyone's going left in this business, everyone else has to go right. And I don't have a problem saying that because in my entire career, I always went right while everyone else was going left. If 1,000 people go left and you go right, you're automatically going to stand out. You're automatically going to get visibility and attention because you're doing things differently, right? So today's world has changed, but here's what I will tell you. Get back to interacting with people face to face. If someone won't take a meeting with you, ask to grab dinner, ask to go to a ball game. You take on the total tab, the cost of the tickets, the experience, even pay for their Uber to get there if you have to, right? Figure out what you have to do selectively, strategically, to get 10 relationships by year end that can potentially give you 20 or 30 deals this time next year. What you do now in July and August of 2022 is going to return you a lot of money this time next year. There's always a 6 to 18 month buffer from the day you meet somebody or the day you actually try and focus on somebody to when you actually get your first deal closed with them, or you get enough business where it's like, wow, this person's really giving me a lot of business. The problem in today's world is everyone's entitled and everyone thinks, oh yeah, I sponsored this open house. Okay, well, good luck. I usually put an average of 4, and this is me, and I've been doing this for my whole entire life, right? I usually say you have to physically meet someone and spend quality one-on time with them 3.5 times before they feel inclined or trust you enough to give you their commission check or give you their deal. So if you meet somebody once, you're not even 25% of the way there. If you meet somebody twice, you got 2 more times before they're likely to even think of you or consider you as a front of the mind option. And you guys should keep track of that. you should get an Excel spreadsheet. When you meet somebody new for the first time, write down their name, write down the date that you first spoke to them, then write down the second date, write down the third date, write down the fourth date, and I guarantee you that lead comes in after you meet with them 4 times in person, one-on-one. I'm not talking about like, hey, hi, hello. I'm talking about one-on-one, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or an hour-long dinner of actually good conversation, no cell phones, no distractions. And if you do it right, it should only be 1 dinner and maybe 2 or 3 cups of coffee. And also bring them value. Try and refer them clients. If they're the actual client or they're a builder or they're a fix and flipper, spend time with them and show them the value. And then once you show them the value, get your opportunity to prove the value. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys took something away from that. Again, keep in mind that at the top right now, the top of the mortgage business is so far disconnected from reality. All they're worrying about is their income and revenue decreasing. It's not a good mindset. Right now, you have to think outside the box, be creative, and go opposite of the crowd. The public is never right. So don't follow the public sentiment and opinion. Who has questions? How can I help you guys? Give me some strategy you guys want to implement. Who's going to start us off? Anybody, nobody? Bill Bullock, I'm looking at your face, so I gotta call you out here. Are you sitting on the beach?
Oh, the beach is awesome.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, I echo what Jeff said. I really like the whole market with personality. There's so much bland rehash of the market's doing this, the rates are doing that, blah, blah, blah. I posted a video maybe a week or two ago. I got my son a miniature big green egg. I've always cooked on a big green egg and he wanted his own. And so he's cooking. And I said, hey buddy, I'm gonna do a video for you to put online. And so I videoed him checking his burgers on the big green egg. And he looks up and he says, when I'm grilling, I'm always thinking about mortgages. That's it. Right. That's it. I got a rash of text about that. Right. I didn't get any business out of it, but I got a rash of text. Right. And that's where it starts.
That's where it starts. And that's what people don't realize. Like, people think you post something, you get a deal. It's not how it works. People watch your stuff. They like your stuff. They engage you. And now you're on their mind. Now you're on their radar. Hey, by the way, my mother was thinking about refinancing because blah, 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 blah. Or, hey, you know what? I'm going through a divorce. You mind helping me out here get my ex-wife paid off, right? You never know how that stuff comes about. But if you don't give them that hook, line, and sinker, they're just going to keep scrolling over it. So like, dude, kudos to you. That's super creative. And I love the fact that you incorporated your son in it, because why not?
Why not?
Why not? They don't want to see your face. They want to see your son's face.
I know a guy that puts his son in a lot of his marketing propaganda.
Listen, he's got to earn it. Every day we're at the toy store, someone's got to earn it. Awesome, Bill. Appreciate that. Anybody else want to hop on, give your 2 cents? Josh, I want to learn a little bit more about you. You interest me. Obviously, we've gone back and forth on LinkedIn a couple of times. Tell me about you, your operation, what you're seeing out there right now, and potentially how I can help you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, obviously you caught my eye on a previous Zoom at noon and I watched it and I was very intrigued, and it was kind of, timing was everything with me. Quick background about me. I'm in my early 30s. I've been in this industry for about 12 years. Previously, up until literally last week, I was in the wholesale space and I was an account executive. So my main client, my main customer was mortgage brokers. Now there's a lot of parallels between mortgage brokers and real estate agents, which is what getting into origination really intrigued me. However, I learned very quickly. So I love the topic today. I grew up in sort of the digital age, and I'm very familiar and comfortable with social media and putting myself out there in terms of videos and content and things like that. And I found very quickly early on when I was dealing with mortgage brokers that if I went into any type of prospecting call or meeting or put any type of content out there on social media with the expectation that I was going to get that broker to sign up with me and send me business, I failed 100% of the time. When I switched my mindset to actually wanting to, number one, get to know that person, get to know their life story, get to know their families, get to know their career, and just wanting to truly develop a relationship with that person, you hit the nail on the head. It took about maybe 3, 4, 5 interactions to the point where they felt comfortable enough with me to say, oh yeah, this guy's pretty cool. I've gotten to learn about him. I've gotten to learn about his company. Let's see what he got. And ever since then, that happened actually very early on in 2020. And ever since then, that's how I've been approaching my relationship meetings and calls and prospecting and things like that. And ironically enough, I was reading this book last week called Go Giver. I don't know if you've ever read it, Jeff. Very, very awesome book. It applies obviously to what we're doing here in the sales side of mortgages, but also applies to life. And one of the things they talk about is called the law of value. And the law of value is basically determined by your true worth is determined by how much more in value that you give than you take in payment. And what that basically means, if you just want to dumb it down, is that you should give more than you receive, essentially. And, it played right into my strategy on how I approach these prospecting calls and meetings and things like that, to where I'm not going into these things saying, I want to get business, I want to get loans, I want to, get these people to sign up with me and send me business right away. I'm truly going into them with zero expectation at all. And I just truly want to get to know them. And that's played very well for me. And, sort of catering that into my social media content as well, right? I'm not putting out content just to get likes and just get people to look at me and, comment and say how great it is. I truly want people to get value from the content I'm putting out there. And that's how I approach everything I do.
Listen, I love it, right? And I'm usually, what I love, first of all, I love the fact that you're humble, right? Second, love the fact, and anybody watching this, hopefully you could attest to this if we've had interactions, there's nothing more that I want or love than getting an unsolicited message, right? So Josh, when you had messaged me, I'm like, damn, I know I'm doing something right and I'm helping the community, I'm helping people, right? And they always say giving is living. If you don't give, are you really living? And I think a lot of people, especially in down markets or slowdowns, you're watching your bank accounts go down and you're watching your business slow down, and you're comparing, where you thought you would be this year to where you actually are this year. We get away from that, right? We go into a fear mode. We go into a safety mode. We go into shit. I don't want to give this homeless guy $20. Man, I don't even want to give him $1 right now. I need that dollar, for example, right? And then you put things into perspective of, holy crap, you got a car, you got a house, you got food, you're good,
Yeah, right.
And people get so far away. And look, I get it. That's real, right? Worrying about where your next deal or where your next dollar is going to come from and all the other stuff that we deal with. But one thing I've learned I can share with you truthfully is, as soon as we get out of our own way in life, the universe takes us down that path. And as humans, especially as egotistical men, ladies, you guys are the exception to this in most cases, right? That's why I love dealing with women more than men in most cases. If you take the ego out of it and you stop fighting, eventually, everything goes into flow and smoothly goes to where you want to be, right? But it's no, I need these 5 realtors because they're number one, or my competitors are getting all this business. Who cares what your competitors are doing? Who cares about the top 5 realtors in your area that are getting everything in the kitchen sink thrown at them, that are probably making more money off the mortgage business than the actual loan officer doing the loans, right? Find your lane and stay in your lane. And the other thing is, guys, you all control your own destiny. And I want to really hit home on this point here. And I'm going to curse, and I'm giving that preface in advance. I don't mean to insult anybody. The younger me was a motherfucker. If I'm 35 now, if I was me dealing with me at 22, 23, 24, when I went out there every day with the mindset of take no prisoners, I have everything to prove, and I'm going to fight everybody because I want to be number one, I wouldn't have lasted with myself too long, right? So you don't have to be number one. If you want to be number one, prepare to have a lot of enemies. You don't have to be number one in this business to make a phenomenal living for yourself and make an impact on the people that you deal with. If you treat every single person that you deal with the mindset of, I want to impact and change their lives, you can't fake that. You can't fake caring about somebody. And if you are faking that, they know about it, right? Also, guys, keep in mind that you control who you allow into your business. If you don't click with someone, client, a real estate agent, cut them loose. Because if it doesn't feel right to you, you're going to wind up, having a crazy 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, 2 years straight dealing with this person. So if you don't like dealing with somebody, don't deal with them. You don't have to. Bill, I saw you took yourself off mute. You got something to say?
You bet you. So when they tell you, when they show you that they're crazy, it is not going to change.
Ever.
It is not going to change. Paul, you can chime in because I'm talking about your person, right? This lady was dying for an in-house lender, and we started that conversation, and she said, "Oh no, I'm just going to open my own mortgage company." She's a relatively inexperienced realtor, going to open her own mortgage company and hire a loan officer to run it. That loan officer would have no vested interest as an owner in that. And she says, I can make $200,000 or $300,000 a year on my own mortgage company with no experience. I told Paul, we got to get out of the way of that right now. Right now, this isn't good now, and it's not going to get better.
Listen,
later.
that's an 18-wheeler coming down the hill with no brakes.
Right? Right.
And I know Paul Rogers thinks he's Superman, but he better get his 180-pound thin ass out of the way of that moving truck. That's all I know, Paul.
195 pounds, sir.
Listen, by the way, before I forget, anybody who watches this or that's not on Reverify, there's a limited quantity left. Go to reverify.com. It's our tech company. We're rocking and rolling. Sign up. Bill, Paul, I know we got to have a conversation about larger scale. I want you guys to go to a listing agent, get at least a new listing from Georgia. We have no listings in Georgia on there yet. Get one of your referral partners on there. Obviously, I know I owe you guys a deeper discussion. Our current development round ends July 31st. So I was waiting for the full bells and whistles on that. But go to reverify.com, sign up. When I see you sign up, just email me your address over. I'll send you guys out shirts. Paul, Bill, did you guys get your shirts yet?
I did sign up for Reverify the first time you mentioned it.
I know I sent your shirt out, Bill. I know I sent your shirt out because I
got my shirt. I think my daughter's getting ready to go off to college in a week, so there's about 100 Amazon packages in my foyer. So I feel like it's in that stack.
I got you. Deepak, did you get your shirt? I know I sent you a shirt out.
Just like Bill's got tons of boxes, right? So my birthday was last week and my wife's was last week too. So we got boxes all over the
Deepak, I hate
place.
to tell you this, but your wife probably stole the shirt. It's that comfortable.
Probably.
But Bill, back to your point, and obviously Paul busting your chops, obviously, when you hear that crazy mindset, you're right. Get out of the way, because you know what's going to happen? When that 18-wheeler comes crashing and kills 85 people, you know what they're going to need? Somebody to come clean up that mess. So when they kill their own deals, hey, Bill, I can't get this deal done. Can you just get this deal done for me so I save face? Now you're there. You don't have to pay anything.
Imagine.
That's why I always, like whenever there's an idea that I have or a potential partnership, I always run it by Bill first, right? He's got more experience than I do. Even though, I don't know how religious or spiritual y'all are, but even the word says something about seeking wise counsel, right? Like,
I'm as spiritual as it gets, just so you know.
Okay, fantastic. So you know what I'm talking about, seek wise counsel, right? So It's like, hey, Bill, this is what's going on. What do you think? Right? Hey, Jeff, this is what's going on. What do you think? Because you guys have been in this way longer than I have. Y'all have pretty much seen it all, done it all, right? Y'all have seen.
Did you close your purchase loan yet?
We're scheduled to close in a week, 2 weeks.
My man, perfect.
Roger that.
Excellent. Roger that is right, my friend. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Hey, imagine the complexity and red tape of starting an application to open a new mortgage company in this current climate.
Hey, good luck.
See you in 2024 with that approval.
It's real. And again, like that's just how, and you know what? How is this? I blame everybody for that mindset right now. As you know, guys, like I'm all pro entrepreneurship. I've shared a lot of my ventures I've done with you guys, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, beautiful, you name it, right? So I don't necessarily fault someone being an entrepreneur, but it's the fact that everyone thinks it's easy and easy money, right? And we just saw in the market with like a Sprout Mortgage, how they just went out of business. They were a $3.5 billion a year company, thinking the money was so easy, printing more money than got. Sprout Mortgage printed more money in the last 5 years than the federal government did. And we know how much the federal government did. And with 6 bad moves or 2 bad moves and greed, they're no longer in existence, right? So if the experts or people that have been in this business for a long time get blindsided at times, imagine somebody that knows nothing, right? But I also blame the people in the mortgage business that bring no value, that will allow a real estate office to open up their own mortgage company because they're doing it for their own financial benefit, right? So look, I get it. I don't knock the idea or thought process, but at least have like the common sense to bring in an expert like a Bill Bullock, for example, maybe like joint venture or spearhead that with you. Why would you want to do it on your own? You probably don't even know that, honestly, that like mortgage has a T in it. I always say everyone spells mortgage, mortgage. Well, if you're in the business, you know, like there's a T in the word mortgage, right? So just keep that stuff in mind, guys. Like, don't get like wrapped into those big dreams by people that are only dreamers. That's what I'll tell you. Because in this business, there's a ton of freaking dreamers and talkers, not a lot of doers, not a lot of people with an impressive track record as far as I'm concerned. Bill, you got anything else? Anybody else have any questions, thoughts?
I think I'm good on my side. We do need to have that other conversation. So get me penciled in for that.
You got it, my friend. Anthony Garcia, Josh, you got anything else? Mary, I always love hearing from Mary. What's going on? Nobody? Anybody? Paul, you got anything else? You got anything else for me? Need any tips or anything?
So yeah, so like I've joined a chamber of commerce. I've been I don't know if you've seen my posts. I've been like tagging along with different realtor groups, right? Like organizations and stuff, kind of supporting their events. I'm thinking about becoming a sponsor. My marketing budget can handle it. So it's not, I mean, they do have the upper levels, but I'm going to come in at the lower tiers just to kind of get exposure. I've absolutely been like, you know, shaking hands, rubbing elbows, getting business cards, following up, having conversations. It's like, how would you, is there anything more that I can do to really maximize those relationships, opportunities to show value, you know?
Rather than, so I don't know what your marketing budget is and I don't care what it is. I'm just going to give you the number. Take your marketing budget, divide it by 5 or divide it by 10, and go to the 5 or 10 most influential people and part of the Chamber of Commerce or organization. Take them out for coffee or a donut or lunch or dinner, depending on what your budget is. And I guarantee you get a multiplier ROI rather than just sponsoring something where everyone else sponsors, because no one gives a shit who sponsors events.
Yeah.
People sponsor events. Yeah, I understand to give back to help offset costs from an ego standpoint. If you want results, put that money into a person, into an interpersonal relationship. I don't care if it's $8 for your coffee and their coffee. You're going to get more out of that than you're going to get out of laying out a couple $100 or $1,000 for an event sponsorship or a organization sponsorship. From experience, coming from somebody that personally spent $48,000 in 2013 on the Manhattan Association of Realtor events, because I was 26 years old. I got promised the world. And you know how much I made from that event when I laid out that money? Goose egg.
Wow. So you spent nearly as much as most people make in a year. You spent
of my own money.
Of your own money.
And you know what I got from it?
Anything from it?
All ego. I did it as an ego. But again, so look, I did, so put it like this, 100% did it as an ego, right? But I did that as a statement, like, I'm here in Manhattan, players, like I'm the player now, you know? So again, did it feel good cutting that check? Yeah, it felt good. Did it feel good returning a 0%, on investment? No. But did I learn from it? Yes. 10 years like later, can I share that with you? Yeah, that's a fact. You could probably go on to my LinkedIn profile and see, like, they gave me a title, the Director of Partnerships and Sponsorships for the Manhattan Association of Realtors. Yeah, wow. 50,000 for a title. I'm good with the mortgage quarterback. That cost me nothing.
Right. Right. But no, that's really good. Thanks, man. So instead of just trying to, spend money, sponsor this, sponsor that, just like you said, find the most influential people at these events and develop, take a personal route with them.
100%. And track it with an Excel sheet. Put their names on an Excel. I'm going to hold you accountable. I want to screenshot every day of every single person you meet, the day you met them, and I know you're going to do it. And I guarantee you, and everyone's different, right? I can't be you. I can't tell you what to do per se. I can make suggestions.
Mm.
It takes 3.5 times on average for myself, right? From meeting someone to getting a deal. So I meet you today, meet in August, meet in September. Now I'm looking for that deal.
Mhm.
I know it's coming.
Yeah.
That's my
Okay.
opinion. Spend $10 on 100 people. It's $1,000. I
Yeah.
guarantee you make that money back pretty quickly.
Makes sense to me. Yep.
By the way, I love the background. That's sick. I don't know if you see my post, but I have that neon theme background of quotes I do. It's my favorite.
Nice.
I don't know if you see
Yeah, man.
it. You see that?
Yeah, that's dope.
It's literally a brick background that I have Ryan, my graphic designer, create, where it's like brick, like in your face, like
Yeah.
brick by brick, get it?
Yep. Laying it out
That's it,
brick
my
by
friend.
brick.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. So treat it like that. Don't just drop $2,500 recklessly. Take that same $2,500 and spend $25 on 100 people. And I guarantee you in the numbers game concept, your ROI will be 10x, if not 100x.
Okay.
All right, my brother.
That's solid. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Keep rocking and rolling. Who else?
Absolutely.
Anybody else have anything before we close up? I know we spent a little extra time in Q&A today, which I love. Guys, I love all that stuff. Tanya, you have anything for us? Nancy, Deepak, you got anything? Anthony, Josh?
Yeah, Jeff, I can jump in here real quick.
Absolutely.
So someone like myself, like I said, I've been in the industry for over a decade. I've been licensed as an LO for almost 5 years. My direct customers over the past however many years have been mortgage brokers. So I've been exposed to the origination side of it. Someone like myself who is jumping into the whole origination world, I know realtors just from word of mouth, but I don't have a true realtor base. What's one piece of advice for someone like myself right now in this marketplace, where I'm at in my career, that you would give someone like myself, quote unquote, starting out?
Oh my goodness gracious. One, Josh, I'm a very complex thinker. I never come up with just one thing on anything.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, I'll take it all.
So I'm gonna give you a very long-winded but very strategic answer. So I was gonna have this be next week's topic, but the fact that you brought this up and you teed this up for me, I have to knock it out of the park. I want you to find your number one priority in the business right now. Okay. And only you can answer that. I can help you. We can go back and forth on it. What's your number one priority? Is it to immediately start doing business? Is it to build a business for the future? Is it to do $5 million a month? Is it to get 2 loans by August? We as Americans in particular, I think we're all American. I hope we're all American here, right? If we're on this call, if somebody's international, God bless. We're distracted with the term priorities. You can't have multiple priorities. You can only have one priority, right? Like if you see an alligator coming at you, your number one priority is survival, right? Your number one priority isn't survival and then going to the grocery store. You can only have one priority at a time. You can only have one priority for the second, for the minute, for the hour, for the day. One thing's gonna get the most amount of your time. So Josh, the first thing you have to ask yourself, and again, we can go into this if you'd like, what's your number one priority right now? The second thing is, what I will tell you, is do not get your feet stuck in concrete. And what I mean by that is a lot of people early on get set in their lane and focus when you don't know what direction the wind's gonna pull you in, right? So your feet in concrete essentially means, hey, I gotta be home by 6 o'clock today because my wife wants me for dinner. You get a call at 5:30 from a new referral source. Hey, can you take this call at 6:15 with this new client? You better say, honey, if you're married, I'm just busting chops. If you're married, honey, I gotta take this call at 6:15. You know what my priority is, and that's making a name for myself, right? The third thing that I would tell you is, right, so don't get your feet stuck in concrete. Third thing I would tell you is the most fun thing I love doing, and I've always loved doing this, and this is why I have so many different projects, like tech projects in particular, and fun things going on, whether it's a book or the Zoom at noon, whatever it is. Have fun reinventing yourself. Have fun recreating your brand, your image, your message. Get a blank piece of paper, because that's where you are right now, Josh. You're a blank piece of paper where you choose, and only you choose, what goes on it and what color goes on it. So if you can figure out those three things, and again, happy to do some coaching and help you, whatever you want to do, we could have that further discussion as well. That's how you have to look at this. Look at this as a new at bat, a new exciting opportunity where you control how fast the pitch is coming in, what bat you're going to use, and how deep fences are. But again, if you get your feet stuck in concrete, you might not feel like you have that freedom and flexibility.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Those are very thoughtful answers. I'm the type of person that, you know, a lot of people would be nervous and scared and risk adverse and have stress and anxiety. And, you know, although I do have those things, I'm extremely excited about the potential opportunities that this could create, because like I said, over the years, I've built my reputation and my experience developing relationships, and I just need to figure out, you know, small tweaks, small niches here and there, little nuances on how to just incorporate that into this new opportunity. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate you taking the time breaking that down for me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And what I always tell everybody else is like, and this is what drives me up a wall, and it has since, you know, 2007 when I really got into the mortgage businesses. People give such bullshit advice. Like every single person is different, right? So if I go down this list right here, Josh is different than Nancy, and it's different than Anthony, and it's different than Bill, and it's different than Deepak, different than Paul, different than Sherry, different than Tanya, different than Mary, right? I could give you guys high level, like what I think, but if somebody has a face for radio, right, you should be on radio. If somebody has a face for a podcast, you should be on a podcast. You know what I mean? Like every single person has their own specific skill set and comfort level, and breaking down your barriers of comfort are one major things in personal development and growth as well. But more importantly, like you're not going to put an offensive lineman in a position to run a Hail Mary. They're going to block. So every single person needs to understand and be real with themselves on what their skill set is, and just maximize your skill set. Like use your skill set, use God's gifts that he gave you to succeed. Don't try and do what everyone else is doing if that's not who you're built to be.
Right. Thank
Nancy,
you.
I see you came off mute. Do you have something to say?
I did. So I have been following you, and I like your posts, and I feel like you keep it real. And
You feel like it. I do. I do keep it real.
You do keep it real. Thanks for clarifying that. You are correct, and that's why I am here. So I am in the title industry in New York.
I know you. You're in Westchester. You don't remember me from years ago? I was all over the Bronx and Westchester with you.
Yes. So I work with a lot of real estate agents, and I'm just tired of hearing like, you know, the rates are going up. And I saw one of your posts, and, you know, I did do a home buyer seminar with a Brooklyn agent, and she's like, hey, if, you know, you're paying rent versus buying, like you're paying 100%, you know, interest rate. So it's like, you know,
dumbest thing ever. I hate that quote. I hate that quote. If anybody else posts that, we're not friends anymore. Go ahead.
So then I was like, okay, that's a good perspective. Then I saw another realtor say, you know what, don't worry about the rates. Focus on the mortgage payment. If you can make the mortgage payment, don't worry about the rate. So here again, I'm not involved with the lending process. So I'm here more or less for educational purposes. So I've been in the business for 27 years. I've gone through the ups and downs of the recession. So I just wanted to get your take as to what is different this time around than the last time. I saw your post was like, we're in this for, I forgot if it was 12 or 18 months. So what is your perspective as to what's different now than it was, you know, in 2008? And somebody's saying it's like, it's not a housing recession, but I'm like, okay, I'm not getting the amount of business that I'm getting. So
a couple things. So first of all, you know, my heart goes out to you for dealing with this. If you think mortgage and realtors are crazy, obviously, you know, your industry is like the wild, wild west, right? Nobody values your industry, unfortunately, right? I think you after
Correct.
27 years, you know, they're like, yeah, Nancy from title, and they probably don't even know what a title report is. So it's very
Correct.
challenging, right?
Right.
To answer your question, as far as like the security and the levels in the housing market, like let's look at like the basic national statistics, right? Last year, 1 out of every 4 properties were purchased all cash, right? Which means that 1 out of every 4 homes, or 25% of homes, didn't even need a mortgage to qualify, right?
Right.
As you know, the majority of properties that were even having accepted offers last year, and everyone on this call is from a different demographic in America, which is tremendous, different location, right? Probably even a different time zone. You
Right.
couldn't even really get an offer accepted with less than 10% down. On a rare instance, maybe you had, an FHA offer or a 5% down conventional. So the buyers that were buying homes put substantial, I consider a 10% down payment substantial. If you're buying a $500,000 house, if you're laying out $50,000, right? That's a pretty big number. It's not like you're putting 5,000 or 10,000 down, right? The level of financial responsibility as a whole has increased, specifically due to the education and knowledge stemming from 2008. Also, the fact that all these big institutions like the BlackRocks, the Goldman Sachs, and so on and so forth are buying real estate, specifically in like the Southeast and Southwest, leads me to believe that they know something that we don't know, right? As far as rising rates go, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, is the Fed is embarrassed and the Fed's in a lose-lose predicament, right? They're basically listening to the consumer and the world. Hey, you have to raise rates, you have to raise rates, you have to raise rates. Make it look like you're doing everything to solve inflation. Inflation isn't going away. Inflation's here. Like, same problems in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. It's all the same, right? Prices are only going to keep going up for forever. So rather than talking about solving inflation, why don't we figure out how to make more money, right? Like, oh, let's figure out the inflation. No, just make more money and you don't have to worry about inflation, right? If you make an extra $5,000 a month, you're good. I just think, again, like there's so much capital out there. People are so lowly leveraged in general. Look, is there always an exception to the rule? Absolutely. Do I think 10% of homeowners in general are living paycheck to paycheck? I would say it's probably more, probably 15 to 20%. And I'm talking about literally paycheck to paycheck. But because rates have been low for so long, and because rates went under 3% in 2020 and 2021 for a little bit, right? Everyone was given that relief. So like if they had 50,000 in credit card debt or student loans or whatever, home prices are up 40%, right? And they cashed out, refinanced, rolled in all their debt and got that lifeline. So like, I don't even think we have relative problems for another, again, this is my opinion, 3 to 5 years. That's my opinion. So like, there is no 2008 event like instance coming at all, not even close, specifically because of the so on and so forth bailouts that we've seen 2013, 2015, 2019, 2021, right? Of prices constantly going up and rates coming down. So right now what's happening is the Feds are purposely rising the interest rates in their own way. Mortgage rates obviously went from 3% in December to now 5.5% here in July. So if we keep originating, like in the first quarter of this year, $892 billion of mortgages were done. $892 billion, right? So, and most of those rates were 4% or higher. So they're just building up more debt. So then in sometime next year, in my opinion, when they bury rates back down to under 4%, which I believe that they're going to do, definitely under 5%, that creates another economy help stimulus without it actually being a stimulus. So if you have $892 billion of mortgages at 6%, for example, right, and rates drop down to 4%, what are the majority of people going to do? They're going to refinance to lower their payment, right?
Yep.
So that's all the government's doing right now is just putting on this dog and pony show, smoke and mirrors. And I'll go to the grave saying that because I'm watching it. And it's funny. I had a friend who I played college football with who's in private equity. He's texting me about interest rates, right? Has no clue about interest rates. He's just basically being a parrot and telling me what the news channels are saying to him, right? And I'm like, you understand that I probably have over 30,000 hours of my time invested in just watching interest rates. Think about it. December 2007, I've watched interest rates every day and week since December of 2007. That was 15 years ago, right? So I tell you that because I've watched this game, I've watched this play, I've seen the trends. So everyone that's like, oh, rates are going, 30-year mortgage rates are going to 8%, 10%. Listen, we're all going to be moving to Russia if interest rates go to 10% because it's not going to be safe to live here, right? So we've already seen the government intervene, PPP, EIDL, stimulus checks, you name it. You think at this point, with everything they have invested, that they're going to let this market collapse? They can't. They absolutely can't. You mark my words here. Look what the markets, look at the Dow Jones, look at the stock market, what it's doing today. And the 10-year treasury, last time I looked at it, interest rates were lower, even though everyone knows the Feds are going to raise interest rates, right? So everyone can have their own opinion in theory. And obviously this is only my opinion in theory, but the stock market right now looks like it's up 137 points. And, interest rates, according to marketwatch.com, it's loading. If anybody has it up, feel free to share it. Last I checked, interest rates were down 0.04% today, right? So all those economic indicators, plus the Fed being the backstop, the number one way to provide relief to America is to have people cut their housing expenses. The problem also is rents are rising rapidly, right? So look, it is what it is. People have to live somewhere. And with the amount of people coming back to big metro areas, I don't see prices going down at all. And again, just to be clear, the United States 10-year treasury hit 3.5% the day before the Feds raised the rates last month, right? 3.5%. Today, the United States 10-year treasury is sitting at 2.77%. So rates are actually down 0.73% since the Feds raised the rates 0.75%, whatever they raised it last time, right? So all the news crap that you hear, it's all bullshit. It's all for clickbait and headlines written by people that truthfully probably don't even own a home. So, getting the right information is so critical, especially when sharing and expressing that to your audience, to your real estate partners, to the consumer. Come up with your own theory and concept and, lay on that. If you've been doing this for 27 years, at this point, I would imagine you have, your solid go-to relationships. And look, as business slows down, it winds out all the pretenders, all the competition, all the people that have been stealing your referrals for the past 5 years. Market slows, these people jump ship like they're on the Titanic.
Right. Excellent. Thank you. You do know what you're talking about. I don't feel like it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I
Bottom
sure hope
line,
so. I
Mike.
appreciate you hopping on. We should get together next time I'm Westchester. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Let me know. Bottom line, I have to make an extra 5 G's a month. Got it. Duly noted.
That's my opinion. Go out and do an extra
make more money.
That's it.
That is the
Forget about
answer.
inflation. You can't control inflation, but you can control if you make extra money every month. That's my opinion.
Sure. Excellent.
So thanks for hopping on,
you.
Nancy.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything before we hop off here? Hey, Tanya, what's up?
Hi, Jeff. Thank you for today. Again, it seems to always be perfectly timed when you're picking topics. I don't know. But
we have that divine connection, right? You and I have that.
Something. Because this is a good one because, I've been in this business a little over a year, totally new to it. I was amazingly overwhelmed when I started. I was processing for a busy broker, learned a lot, did a few loans, and then the past few months I've been strictly LO on my own. And so I'm happy to report I closed $2 million this month.
Oh my God. I'm so proud of you. 2 million?
Yeah, totally. $2 million this month. Not even counting HELOC.
That's why I haven't heard from you. You've been counting your money.
I've been processing loans, getting them to close, but now
oh my God,
my pipeline's dried up and I need to learn how to market. And I'm all about the relationship, like you're talking about. So I joined the board of my local humane society, which has a real estate lawyer on it and a real estate agent. I've been putting myself just out in scenarios just to meet and talk to people. I was scared in the beginning, but now that I've done reverse mortgages, non-QM, VA, FHA, USDA, I feel pretty confident in my process. And I feel like I'm ready to go out there and be like, yeah, here I am.
There's nothing more rewarding than hearing that. And there's also nothing better from a confidence standpoint, hearing that you just closed $2 million. And obviously, look, there's always work to be done. There's always, something new that could be added to your arsenal. But coming off a $2 million month in July, I could probably tell you most people that are listening to these calls would kill to close $2 million a month, right? The other thing I would tell you from an early on experience is the business is very cyclical, right? So you can't, $2 million, great, right? Track that. So you got to make an Excel spreadsheet, say July 2022, I closed 2 million. and then you start to form your own trend and roller coaster. And then next year, your goal is to close 2.1 million in July, right? You always want to outdo the prior year if you can, if the market permits it, if the market allows it, right? Every market's different, but it's a game of averages, right? So like, here's what I want you to do is me personally, pretend July 1st was your first month ever doing mortgages on your own, right? Use this as month 1 and then build it out through June. And I want you to set a target for yourself of how much you want to close from this month included through June of 2023. Is that 10 million total? Is it 15 million total? And track that. And it's a numbers game, right? And then after that 12 months, you'll have enough data for us to analyze the statistics and metrics. If you want to do more business, the number one referral source for you right now are going to be the people you just closed. You better call them, tell them, hey, who do you know owns a property? Who do you know wants to buy a property? You better tell everyone I am the best mortgage person that you've ever dealt with. If I'm the only person, you're not lying, so you're still telling the truth. Like literally hone in on them, send them a thank you card, send them whatever you have to do, send them flowers. When they're in their house for a month, hey, congratulations on your first month in your property. Just wanted to let you know I'm thinking about you. You know how far that goes?
Yeah.
Don't hit and run. Do not hit and run.
No. Yeah. It's a little overwhelming right now, but that's what I'm
because you're counting all that money. You just made a ton of money.
I did. I've just, it's been a whirlwind, and I've learned so incredibly much and
Be
made
grateful for
really
it.
great relationships with my lenders and stuff like that. So I feel super confident, but now it's all about learning how to go out there and, hey, here I am.
Keep going. Transfer that money to your savings account. Pretend like you're broke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Telling you. Keep $100 in your checking account. Like, oh man, I didn't just close 2 million. I better go get some money or I can't eat this month.
Yeah, no, I'm all about building it out and moving forward. And, you know, the gratification from helping some of these people get into these houses and stuff is even more than I expected. I mean, I have to admit, I made the shift thinking I wanted to make more money, but helping these people, some of these people has been awesome. Like I did a USDA 100% financing. They never thought they could own a home. Like cool stuff like that.
I'm going to share this with you, and I haven't started it yet, and I didn't make this up. So can you read that?
Yeah. Move it over a little. There you go. Keep going towards your face. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Read it out loud for everybody to see.
The money comes.
That's the title of my next book I'm going to write. I don't know what I'm going to write the book about, but that's the message that needs to be like screamed and shouted.
Yeah.
The money comes. The money comes. That's it.
It does. I'm lucky in that my bank has been really supportive and paid me a salary and benefits to keep me going while I build this up. So
very nice. You are lucky with that.
I've got backup and they're there. So now it's my job to, go out there and bring it in.
Momentum. This business is all momentum, highs and lows. Just keep going and rocking and rolling.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome. I'm super proud of you. Keep in touch. You ever need anything, reach out anytime.
I will. And I want to talk to you maybe about a little coaching. So
okay, whatever you want. My phone's always on, whatever you need. Stay locked in. Be proud of yourself. Don't forget to celebrate that you just closed $2 million in business, right? But hate to be the bearer of bad news. August 1st is 4 days away.
I know.
You're back to zero.
And I got nothing left. I'm like,
Okay. Again, if you take the 2 months that you're averaging right now, if you close nothing in August, you're still averaging $1 million. So you set your number. If you want to close $12 million of business in that 12-month span, you already did $2 million of that. That's already 16.66% of your goal that you hit. Only you can set your goal. Once you set your goal and what you really need to or want to close as a target, we'll formulate the path for you to get there. Promise you.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody out there.
Congratulations again, Tanya. Does anybody else have anything before we hop off? I know we've been on here for a while. Happy to stay on a little bit longer. I got time for one more question. If anybody has anything. Anybody? Nobody? Come on. I know somebody out there has one good question. Josh, what'd you think of your first live Zoom at noon today?
I mean, I couldn't have couldn't have expected, anything less, man. Like I said, I've been following you and just staying in touch with your content. I'm really grateful and thankful that I came across that one post and video. And I just love the community that you created, right? This industry, I think we get so stuck on being selfish and greedy and just caring about ourselves. And it really is about meeting people, not only your clients, but, other people in the industry. And I'm just, super grateful that you do these. And I absolutely am a, long-term follower for sure, man. So thank you for everything.
Appreciate it. Hopefully I can live up to all that expectation moving forward as well. So if you need anything, reach out anytime and just keep going. Like I said, stick to those 3 things we spoke about. Priority, don't get your feet stuck in the concrete, and have fun reinventing yourself. Don't forget everything you learned. Just start as if you now have all the secrets to success. And if you do that, man, you're going to be off to the races.
I appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Josh. Be well. Everybody have a great day, great week. I am going to be in Florida next week. I'm taking my son 8/1 to 8/8, so we will not be live next week, Wednesday. My phone's going to be on, emails on. If you guys need anything, let me know. But when we return, so the next Zoom at noon, I want you guys to really bring some questions and bring some insight. And then I really want to unravel each one of your guys' concerns. I want to know what you guys are seeing out there. And let's keep going. So kick ass, take some time to yourselves. Don't forget to celebrate your wins. And I'll see everybody in the upcoming weeks.